All right, today we're checking out the Torp Motors TC1000 controller and TM25 motor. All right, we got Sully in the shed.
Sully in the shed.
About a year ago, we installed the Torp 500 controller based on Sully's recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, I run them on both my bikes as well. I have a 1000 on one bike and I have a 500 on the other.
So Torp wanted us to try the 1000 and the TM25, so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, so the 1000 is definitely an upgrade. It's got better heat dispersing capabilities.
Let's open it up and see what's inside.
Let's check it out. Okay, so lots of bubble wrap. That's always good. Looks like a shirt or something on top here. Oh, it's a hoodie.
Got a little hoodie.
Torp Motorsports on the front, like the red accents on it. Powered by Torp. Super cool.
I would definitely wear this, 100%.
You'll have no shortage of stickers. They hooked you up.
Oh my God.
You got stickers for days. Red, white, and black. Let's see here. So we have the regen for the brake, for the thumb brake. The Torp cover. Moving forward, we have the new Torp display.
I wasn't sure if this would come with it.
Yeah, so this is the new Torp display. The old one's like an Egg Rider style. I believe this one's a full color display as well.
I never bothered to connect an Egg Rider to my TC500. I just always used my phone, but sometimes, you know, just having a phone as a display can be kind of cumbersome. So this is something I'm looking forward to.
So pulling out the TC1000 now. It's a little bit longer. So the other one came in a square box. This one is more rectangular. So opening up the controller, there's some hardware, tools, dielectric grease, and the controller underneath there, all nicely packaged in there. Moving on from that, comes with our pigtail, ready to plug and play all of our Surron accessories into it.
In the previous Torp video, I compared the harness for the BAC 4000, and it was like a mess, right? It was just like a lot of crap.
You have to tuck a lot of wires when you're installing some of these other controllers, BACs, KO, stuff like that. Like you can have every single plug in there. You don't have to cut any connectors off for it to fit like nice. You don't have to force anything into its spot. Heavy motor. All right, let's get this box out the way. Set this bad girl down. So they cover all the phase wires. That's nice. Extra protection on the bendy spots.
It goes without saying, so far, the presentation, the packaging, everything about the Torp just feels super high quality, in my opinion. From what I understand, the TM25 is kind of the best all-around motor. They do have more powerful motors in their lineup, but I believe this is kind of the best of both worlds if you're doing road stuff, if you're doing off-road stuff.
So if you're running 72 volt and you plan on running more than 18 kilowatt, you're gonna have to ditch the stock motor and get this. And then if you're running 60 volt, if you want to run more than I believe it's 14.5 kilowatt, then you're going to have to ditch it and get the Torp motor as well.
We're also going to pair it with a powerful lithium r-spec Elite Pro battery. So we definitely have some directions here, some instructions. Luckily, we pretty much have the same setup for the TC500. So it's just going to be kind of very similar. I don't know if we have to go step by step. We'll kind of just montage through it. But if there's something that stands out to us, or if we hit a hiccup, we'll call it out and we'll mention it, but we're just going to kind of fly through it.
Yep, and then they got the QR codes for the different bikes there, so you can scan it and get the correct help video. In here, it does say to swap the pulley, but it comes with a pulley, so I'm not going to swap the pulley. I'm just going to use this one because the other one has miles on it, and this one's brand new, so we're going to use that one.
All right, so yeah, I guess we'll just get right into it.
Let's install some stuff, eh? Okay, so we got the old TC500 out. Gonna put the 1000 in. Kind of mounts a little bit higher up than the 500 if I remember correctly. I'll have to reference the instructions here for that. The plug is the exact same, so all you have to do is just put some dielectric grease in and plug in your new controller. So this is the same harness that is on there. The only thing is it's already all hooked up on this end, so why unplug it just to plug this back in? Nice healthy serving of the dielectric grease in there to help prevent water and corrosion.
Alright guys, here's a side-by-side look with the Torp TM25 and the stock Surron motor. This is roughly about 4.5 inches wide, whereas the Torp is about 5.5. The core is pretty much the same. So the phase wires are located on this side of the Torp motor, and then on the stock Surron, it's on the other side. The sensor is pretty much on the same side as the stock. Weight-wise, the Torp is definitely heavier, for sure. Definitely looking forward to installing the Torp, so let's go do it. So we finally installed the Torp TM25 motor, the TC1000 controller, and everything was pretty straightforward. Obviously, we're coming from a TC500, so all the connections were already there. We already had the harness installed. So it's very simple. If you're coming from a stock setup or a BAC 4000 setup, it's going to be a little bit more involved. It may take you a little bit longer. It's good to know that all the connections are pretty much the same between the TC500 and 1000. We also installed the display controls, the regen, even though we may not use it, but we just figured we'd install it for the video, and the center mounted Torp display. Since I have a lot of wiring on this bike, just had to kind of run it through the frame, but my bike has a lot of interesting electrical stuff.
So now that we have everything in here, I think it's time to calibrate this motor and get it going. All right, so now we're gonna calibrate the bike with the app. We're using a 72-volt battery from Powerful Lithium, so turning it on, it's getting its configuration here. So into the app, go into the settings. First, you're going to want to change your battery settings. So you're going to want to change it to a 72-volt aftermarket. Hit OK. Now that we have the battery configured, we can go into the calibration. And it's very important that you pick the correct motor here. So we're running the TM25, so we're going to hit the Torp TM25 and hit OK. It's going to let us know that if you pick the wrong one, it could be bad, but we got the right one, so we're going to hit OK. You want to make sure the wheel is off the ground and not touching anything and not getting hindered by anything. So we're going to go ahead and hit calibrate here. It is going to ask us for the Bluetooth password, which is on the side of the controller over here. Okay, now that we got that in there, it's going to just make sure it's able to spin freely, which it is, so we're going to continue. And then now it's going to go ahead and calibrate itself. There it goes. Now it's calibrating the encoder.
Just let it do its thing. It takes some time. Try not to interrupt the process.
Okay, motor detection complete and successful. Hit OK on the screen. Now hit next, since we got the motor calibrated. Throttle calibration. So you want to slowly pull the throttle and then let go. Do that a couple times. Make sure that it gets the reading correct. Next. It's going to save that. It's going to say test it, make sure it's spinning the right way. Yep, we're going forward. That's good. And if it, for whatever reason, if it's spinning backwards, just hit the change direction button and then finish and save. We can change a few other things like the sprocket ratio, the wheel diameter, all that stuff, so we can get the correct reading on the display. So going back into the settings now. Oh geez, it reset our battery back to something else. All right, so back to 72-volt aftermarket, turning up the RPM all the way so there's no speed limit. Gonna put the battery current for now at like 105 amps. We'll put the motor current for now at about 400 amps. I'm just going off based on tunes that I've done prior for people. I know this tune will probably be pretty close to what we want, and then we can just adjust it on the fly. And then sport mode, we're just gonna let her eat. Maybe we'd put it down to like 21 kilowatt. Field weakening can go up to 150 amp with this motor. We're gonna run 100 amp, which is the max on the stock motor first. But when we do our top speed test, we're going to change that to 150. Go into the throttle settings really quick. In Eco, I always do one away from aggressive on, that's just how I like mine. Throttle curve on Eco, I usually leave. The one on Sport, I'll usually add a couple %. Just give it a little bit more in the mid-range. The throttle response is a personal preference. For me, I like it one away from aggressive because I feel that gives me the closest to stock feeling of the bike. The dead zone, I am going to turn down to 1%. Sometimes it'll throw an error on the display. If it does, just turn it up to 2% and you won't have it anymore. So now we're going to try to calibrate the thumb regen throttle here. So this is the issue that I had with mine. I couldn't get mine to read. Okay, skipping that. Bear with me here trying to find the other settings. Okay, so here's field weakening. When do you want it to start? It's by default, it's late. I usually run mine on early. Gives you that little extra low end. Low regen warning says it's on hide, but yet it's still on the display. So I don't understand why that's there, but I guess we'll figure it out as we go. Speed units should be in mile per hour, but it's not.
All right, so to change the miles per hour on the display, you just have to hit the orange button, power button down below until you get to speed. Hold down the orange button and you'll be able to change the settings from kilometers to miles per hour. You can also change a few other settings, orientation, color theme, brightness. Yeah. Temperature will change to Fahrenheit since we're in the US. So on the main screen of the display, you see your battery level, voltage, battery level and percentage, your riding mode, and then your speedometer right in the center, and your watt hours per mile.
What button would you like to activate reverse with? So got it tuned for to have reverse. You hold down the negative and it'll go in reverse for you. I turned off the kickstand and the crash sensor because I do not believe that he has either of those sensors anymore. Okay, so now that we are here in the peripherals, which I didn't look at before, if you're running the Torp display, you want to make sure that you change your mode button to the Torp display, otherwise it will not go between eco and sport mode correctly. It'll just stay in eco mode. But now that's set up, and I got reverse set up as well, we're good to go. So we're gonna go give it a test and see what happens.
The Torp TC1000 is a high-performance FOC controller built for serious power. It supports batteries from 60 to 80 volts with a peak output of up to 50 kilowatts and 1000 amps of phase current. Designed to be dialed in quickly using the Torp app, it offers smooth calibration and adjustable power and throttle settings to suit your ride style. When paired with a 72-volt battery, it delivers a solid 27 kilowatts of real-world power to push your bike beyond the stock specs. The Torp TM25 motor strikes a solid balance between efficiency, range, speed, and power, making it a great fit for both the streets and off-road. It's built to improve overall performance while keeping motor heat in check, so you can ride harder than the stock motor without worrying about thermal limits. With 69 Newton meters of torque, a peak output of 31 kilowatts, and a high rev ceiling of 11,000 revolutions per minute, the Torp TM25 delivers serious power that's easy to install.
We got the initial setup done on the Torp, as you've seen in our last clip. So far I roughly set up eco and sport. Eco to be more for Rick's style of riding, and then sport to be more for my style of riding. But the highest kilowatt that we're pushing today is going to be 8 kilowatt. Yeah, Rick's bike is very low, so I look super goofy on it, and my knees are like at like a 45 degree sitting on this. So, you know, I'll do the best I can on it, and I'm sure it'll be just fine. Let's just start off and maybe try some circle wheelies around this pole behind me. So I'm in Rick's tune, which is more of like a very conservative tune. You really got to give her a lot of beans to keep that front tire up. But I mean, I don't think I've ever rode Rick's bike this good, ever. The controller and the motor are definitely working together in harmony. Yeah, you can, unrelated to the motor and controller, we did upgrade the battery and it's a lot heavier, so that's something I'm getting used to, but yeah, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, let's try a sit down wheelie and then maybe try a seat stander or something. So I'm gonna put it back into my mode for the sit down. I need a little bit more power. I mean, super smooth. I forgot I don't have a 12 bar. I'm going back for the scrape and there's nothing there. But yeah, I mean, sit down's incredibly controlled. I mean, like I said, that motor is, it's butter. You can definitely notice right off rip that 8 kilowatt definitely feels a little bit more than 8 kilowatt with this motor. So this bike is running a fairly large rear sprocket, so the top speed on this bike probably isn't going to be as impressive as it could be with, per se, like a stock 48 tooth, or even maybe gearing even down more to like a 42, especially because Rick does run a slightly smaller wheel size as well. That also affects the gearing in the way opposite to what we want for top speed. But for stunting, for going slow and a lot, learning how to wheelie, learning nice and slow, that's what you want to learn on. So that's what Rick has. Yeah, let me do one more trick real quick. Let's try a seat stander and we'll call it good there. Other than my sloppiness, it feels really good. Let me retry that. There we go. A lot smoother. Yeah, I mean, you can tell just the amount of control that I have over this bike. And if you watch any of the previous videos, not happening. Motor and controller are definitely doing their job. You couldn't ask for much more out of the combination.
As we said, the bike is way more heavy. I can feel it. I think my spring is just like too soft for this setup now. It's about to bottom out. It's a little bit lower now, believe it or not. I have my bike super low and it just dropped it maybe an inch or half an inch or something like that because of all the weight. It's a significantly heavier bike now. But the compromise is that you have more power, you have a little bit more control. We just saw Sully do some stunt riding on it, and we're gonna keep it on eco mode. I'm just gonna see how that feels. So yeah, throttle, way more responsive. I can just feel the motor doing its thing, right? And I gotta say, the sound of the motor, I like the sound. I mean, the sound of the stock motor I just got used to. It just has a certain noise to it. And this thing, it's just, I don't know, it sounds pretty cool. I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I think the motor's not struggling is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, really responsive. I'm just getting used to the weight, right? I'm just getting used to balancing a lot more weight on the front with that battery. We could try taking it up the hill. See how that goes. And up the hill. Woo! Did not expect all that water. If I had off-road tires, that would have been super fun, but yeah. And that's just eco mode. Woo! Wow. The acceleration, my God. It's like a totally different bike. Sully tuned it down for me. This is not the tune he likes, but I like a strong, like low end, not too strong, but like enough to get the wheel up. And then the mid, I just like it really smooth because I'm not quite comfortable keeping balance point, but like even with the feet down, yeah, super easy to control. We'll put one foot up, see how that works. I'm not really good at that, but pretty wild. I wasn't quite sure if I needed all this power. I probably don't, but just to have it, even if you're not running 21, 22 kilowatts, the fact that the bike is not struggling at the lower settings means that it's just, you just have more control. Because of the additional weight, you want that control, so it kind of evens out. Totally different bike. It's heavy. This is not going to be easy to like lug around and put in the shed, but it is like a completely different bike. I've had this Surron since it came out basically, and it's been through so many iterations you know, some better than others. Tried some things, took some things out. This setup is just, it feels so dialed in, and we're just getting started, right? This is just the initial first impressions, like in this lot.
Previously, we had a 60-tooth sprocket on there. We put it back down to a 48-tooth to try and replicate more of a stock gearing, even though technically a 42 is stock-ish for a 16 rear tire. We got the battery almost all the way full. It's at like 96-ish%. And then I changed a few of the settings. I turned the field weakening all the way up so we can get the most top speed out of it. Battery current max, motor current max. It says 26.5 estimated kilowatts. We got the draggy here, so we're gonna be able to actually test and see the 0 to 30, 0 to 60, and all that good stuff. So yeah, looking forward to it. Wish me luck.
3, 2, 1, go.
Woo! I'm not crying, you're crying. Holy crap, this thing is ridiculous. Ugh. All right, let's see here. 3, 2, 1. So just got done with the speed test on this thing. Holy crap. I have the throttle curve and the throttle like tuned kind of like mellow. And this thing is just, is anything but. But holy crap, I mean, 26 kilowatt is, it's insane. Insane. If that's even what I hit, I don't even know. We're gonna have to, maybe in another video, we'll do a recording of the Torp app and see what kilowatt it actually peaks at, and see if I'm even using all the power, because when you're doing a launch, there is no way you're gonna keep it full throttle. Full throttle launch is not gonna happen. You are gonna loop over backwards. You need an extended swing arm for that. It is insane. But I bet with some 19s on this and a 42-tooth sprocket, 100 all day long. 100 all day long with the setup. I think I hit almost 80, if not 80 on that top speed. And on the second pull, I popped the breaker. So yeah, we know she's working. She's pushing the power, that's for dang sure. So touching on powerful lithium, the battery, oh my gosh, is this battery a powerhouse? It actually did super good. I didn't feel it like throttling down or anything. I didn't feel it break a sweat running the 26.5 kilowatt. We were only running the one discharge port, so I didn't stay in it too long. I was keeping an eye on the motor and controller temperatures the whole time. Nothing got out like crazy. I can't wait to see this battery with a TM40. That would be insane to see this battery actually push to its full potential.